Hi, this is Farella Vivian on Facebook from Auntie Geri. I'm sending you paints. This is how to mix some paints. You only need these colors. 3 teaspoons of white to start. This is more than fill any small painting. And 2 teaspoons of cadmium medium yellow, cadmium red light, 1 alizarin crimson, and ultramarine blue and black. With these colors, you can mix everything. Don't let them tell you differently. I've got boxes of paints, useless. And so I took 3 dollops of white here, and I tried to keep one like a light blue. And then if it gets too dark, you just make another. You keep using your dollops. This is acrylic. This happens to be Liquitex. It's my favorite. And then I'll let one of these little blues, I'll let one of them be a little bit purpley, you know, and that you use the alizarin crimson into one of your mixtures of blue. So dark, I'm going to show you what to do. I always add a little bit of black, I've already done it, to my blues so that they won't be just looking like a 4-year-old did them straight out of a tube. And that's one of the fun things about mixing. And is just learning to have your paint be your very own color. So I'm going to wipe off my palette knife, and I keep my water in, your mother will have these jars. This is large curd cottage cheese from Safeway. It's very good. And then I'm going to mix a color. I'll just show you a little quick redwood tree. So here's a yellow, and here's another yellow, and I'll put a little bit of black in one of the yellows. It makes a very beautiful green. I'm not going to get out tube greens because they're kind of phony looking. And I'll show you, and then this will be a lighter green. And, you know, while I'm painting, I want to add a little white into it. I'll do that. I'll show you in a moment. And then with your yellow, you always add the darker color into the lighter color. If you want a little orange, of course you will. You put a little bit of red into your yellow. You scrape underneath it. I'm sending you some palette knives. They're old, but they're good. And see how I got a nice little orange there, and I can get a little more of an orange color. Take off some of the yellow and it'll have a more ratio of red to orange. Red to yellow, that makes a bright orange. There's a light, like a tangerine colored orange. And then I use my extra colors. I usually have something to wipe them on. This alizarin crimson will make the color you want on your orchids. I know you do flowers. So I'll take one of my blues here and make a beautiful, it already has a little ultramarine blue, black, and a little now alizarin crimson. This makes a pretty color. It's kind of the color, show her that painting that's in the background of that painting, which is just energy. And so once you mix a few colors on your palette, it's pretty easy to go to town. Now, if you want to make brown, I put some out, but you just take a little of your red and you add black into it. And you could do a whole painting with red, black, and white. And you'll get just the most beautiful variety that you don't see in just a kid's painting sometimes. It's nice. So anyway, you can get browns as dark as you want them or as light with just red and black. Now, I didn't wipe the yellow off my palette because of hurrying to fit this on Facebook for you. So what I did, I have hot lights on my paint. I always keep a little sprayer. This is probably a 99-cent Super Mist. You don't want to wet the paint to where it loses its pigment, but you want to keep it moist. Now with your brush, you take your brush, as big a brush as you can stand to work with in the beginning, and you wet it before you put it in your paints, but you wipe it off so it isn't all gooey. And now, Michael, if you'll come around, I have a filmer, very famous man, very famous songwriter named Michael Beckler. I'm just gonna muck up the painting I did. So this is a painting I did, and I'm not using medium yet because it doesn't matter that much, but I'm just going to bring in some other colors. This was my sky. It wasn't any good anyway. It was just a demonstration. And I'll bring in one of my darker blues somewhere here. And I'll bring in one of my purple blues somewhere here. What I'll do is I'll just bring the tree right over it. And, you know, maybe I want a little cloud. I have the black and the white. Maybe I don't want a little cloud. Maybe I want a clean brush. This is the thing. Keep your brushes you're not using. I have a water and a rinse water. Wet the new brush. Get a new color for your greens. Let's try to make this was a crummy tree. It wasn't interesting. It had no front. And you can paint over any of your work you didn't like. It's kind of fun just to get rid of. It's kind of the rising of the phoenix. Just get rid of it. So this, we actually go camped many times. Bring it right down, let it blend in. It doesn't matter at all. And where you want it to be dark, you add a little more black into your yellow. This is just what you can use any other colors. I'm just showing you that with 5 or 6 colors, you can mix everything that people go buy things and really all they've done is add a bunch of white to them and make them look silly and beginnerish. Some of the colors. There are some pretty colors you'll enjoy though. I don't use them, but my friends all have fun with them. See, I'm just darkening a little bit here under the branches. And the thing about redwood trees that's kind of fun is they're not symmetrical, and I see that I'm painting a symmetrical Christmas tree. So then put that in the water. Anytime you're not using a brush, put it in the water because it will dry out. It is acrylic. It's good. It's probably not good for an hour on a hot day, but now I'll take some of my black and red and put a little tree trunk here and there. And you know what I was also going to show you just is how to, now because they're not symmetrical, I'll try to see what I can do. Let some of the branches go out. And I have a little scratcher outer. Things have names, I couldn't care less. But so then, you know, I can take some of the paint back out. Either with a stick, I always have a stick, and let some of these brown lines come out further, just the redwood tree branches. And with your flowers, don't worry. Don't make anything perfect, and nobody cares. Nobody knows even what you had been painting, you know. And then there's a little darkness under a tree. I can't put that in the water, it'll wreck everything. But say underneath the tree, later I'll teach you how to use medium. I'm sending you medium. And you shake it up before you use it. Run hot water on it so it will open up. But under any kind of a tree, there's a little dark. It has to be, it's best. I mean, this is just boilerplate stuff, but it's best if you anchor it. I learned that from Brigitte. She teaches oil up somewhere past your house. And anyway, she was the first person that actually taught me that you do that. I'm not a landscape painter at all. I paint energy. There's nothing to show you an example of, but this beautiful thing here, that's just energy. So then too, I still want to take my little stick and kind of hope I find it easy. I don't. So I'll take the end of a pen and scratch some branches out of this. And it was really ugly. I mean, it was a demo that, you know, you're in a hurry and you don't have time to think. Now let me go back to my sky color and always wipe it off. Start with a clean brush if you can, but I know I'm using my sky color, so I can go ahead and put more sky. If you want it to look thick like oil, don't attenuate it with a bunch of medium or water. You know, you could do that another time. And just go ahead and put the paint on. One of our painting friends, Michael Joseph, he's really good. He just puts it on thick, and he does oil, but I can't tell my oils from my acrylics because I am a teacher. I used to kind of know how to make them look textured. But I can tell you, if you paint in oil, people buy them. They won't let you keep them. They'll say, I just have to have that. If you paint in acrylic, it'll still be sitting
You
there.
might want to wind up pretty soon.
Okay, what time am I on?
10 minutes.
I've had 10? And how many do I get? Okay, well, I'd like to, okay, well, I hope people can see this. I was going to bring a little bit of complementary color into the tree. Well, that red is a complement of green, so you want some branch. You know, if something gets looking too light and too bright, put a little of its complement in it. Just look, I'm sending you a chart. Michael showed her that chart. I'll put it on the red, and then the complements on the other side, that's green. Anytime something looks too brash, just put a little complement in it. And I think I want to give it a cloud. Do I have time to give it a cloud, Michael?
I have no idea.
Okay. He has no idea. So I'm going to give it a cloud. I just say, look at, all this paint was just to do this painting. So Michael will show you that again. So I'll put a little cloud up here, you know, just a little cloud, little cloud. Of course, it's not perfect, but you know, what else are we going to do on Mother's Day with being stuck in the house? Then I do tend to sign my paintings because, you know, I put a little square with an MG in the middle down here at the bottom, and I do it with my paint generally, but there's no time. So I'll just show you how. If you do your little insignia, don't do it too big, you know, try to look like you're modest. But I'll do this with a little square. This is a real big one, but I'm using a pen. But there's MG for Geri McGilvray, and this goes out to Ella Vivian and anybody at all who'd like to see how you mix acrylic and how much paint you have left. Just put out $3 each of your white and your yellow and go to town. Mix your brown with red and black. Oh, I didn't use orange. Hey, let's put a couple of poppies in the bottom here. Wet my brush. We just have to use a little bit of orange just for fun. Maybe there's just, you know, it won't be perfect. And just let it sit on top, but maybe we want a little bit. I've seen the poppies when I've gone out here lately. They won't be under the redwoods. You have to pretend. We're the artists, so it doesn't matter. And then if you use a color somewhere, try to put it somewhere else. I'll change that one later. Okay, so this is, I hope I can help you other times how to use the medium. I'm gonna take that orange off. I do use my finger. I don't know any artists who never use their finger. And there you are. So happy Mother's Day, Aunt Charlene and Jenna and Ella Vivian and Trinity and I always say my favorite niece, Erin, but I knew her the longest.